upon the king. Let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all, oh hard condition, twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense can no more feel but his own ringing. What infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings the privates have not too, save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of god art thou, that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What drinkest thou oft, instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee the cure. Thinkest thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou commandst the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream, that plays so subtly with the king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the sceptre and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the fast title running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave who, with a body filled and vacant mind, gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread. Never sees horrid night, the child of hell. But, like a lackey, from the rise to the set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn, he doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows the ever-running year with profitable labour to his grave. And but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep. The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in a dull-brained little knows what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages. All his senses have but human condition. All my senses have but human condition. A king's ceremonies laid by, in his nakedness, he appears but a man. And although his affections are higher mounted, yet when they stoop with the same wing. Yet in reason, no king should possess himself with any appearance of fear, lest he by showing it would dishearten his army. More so, if these men tomorrow do not die a good death, it will be a black matter for a king that sent them to it to disobey against all proportion and subjection. Peace. If a son, that is by his father, sent about merchandise do sinfully miscarry upon the sea, the imputation of his wickedness, by that rule, should be opposed upon the father that sent him. Or, if a servant under his master's command, transporting a sum of money, be assailed and die in many irreconciled iniquities, that rule may call the business of the master the author of the servant's damnation. But this is not so. The king is not bound to answer the particular endings of his soldiers, the father of his son, nor the master of his servant. For they purpose not their death when they purpose their services. Every subject's duty is the king's, but every subject's soul is his own. Therefore, should every soldier in the wars do as every sick man in his bed, wash every mote out of his conscience, and dying so, death to him is an advantage. Or not dying, the time was blessedly lost, for in such repention was gained. And if it was so sin to think that making God so free an offer, he let him outlive that battle day to see his greatness live on and to teach others how they should prepare. O God of battles, still my soldiers' hearts. Possess them not with fear. Take from them now the sense of counting ere the opposed numbers that pluck their hearts from them. Our gayness and our glit are all besmirched with rainy marching in the painful field, and time hath worn us into slovenry. But by the mass, our hearts are in the trim, and my poor soldiers tell me yet ere night they'll be in fresher robes, or they will pluck the gay new coats over the French soldiers' heads and turn them out of service. Indeed, the French may lay 20 French crowns to one for them to beat us, for they bear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French crowns, and tomorrow the king himself will be a clipper.